All right. Hello, boys and girls. My name is Mike Kelly. Mike at kellytown.com. Kelley town.com. Um, I promised, a lot of people have been asking about this, and I promised I would do my review of BuildingGen. But I'll give you the TLDL DR version. I wouldn't buy it if I were you. It's only for a very, very, very specific set of circumstances, and it's for people that want to build apartment buildings. That's basically what it's set for. Now, can it work for other things? Sure, it can. Is it easy? No, it's very, very difficult, and to get it to work for anything other than apartment buildings is gonna just drive you nuts. I think you're far better off foregoing it right now. Maybe at some point it'll grow up. I would think it reminds me kind of iClone 3 for those of you that have been around that long. It's just very, very rough. But I'll give you a quick sort of thing. First, let me just show you some of this stuff. I'll just give you an idea of some things. These are some of the things you can't do with it. So you can't do anything like this. This is impossible because it doesn't have roofs. So we'll talk about that later. You might say, Mike, how can you not have roofs? We'll get to that. You can't do anything like this. And why is this? Because again, you don't have roofs, but you also can't do windows that are this close to doorways, and you'll see why in a second on that sort of thing. This is kind of what the example that Kai shows you that you can do. Holy crap, this is a lot of work. By the way, everything I'm showing you can be downloaded from the DAS store just like that. And then you have the building. Then you don't have to worry about trying to build the building. So these are all DAS models that you can get. I would far more suggest that you spend your money that way. And that's about it for that. So that just shows you the things you can do. Oh, and I should also mention too that some of those things I showed you are modular things. They're actually designed to be used modularly, so you'd think they would fit right in with BuildingGen. But anyway, so I'll just give you the very quick, like I say, very quick tour. You go in and basically you create a package. So I have a package I've already created called Testes, using assets that I got from a modular building package, and that took me forever to put those in. Honestly, those of you that have far more patience than I do may do it. It's just a pain in the ass to do. But you can do them. You got to make sure that here's one of the first limitations you're going to come across is every single thing you do, whether it's a door, a wall, a window, not the floors, but the things that fit on the sides of your house have to be the same width. Well, that's crazy. Doors are not the same width. How would you have a window next to a door if they're both like 2.5 or 3 meters? Well, you can't. So how you would get around that is you'd have to make everything like a meter wide, and so then have your walls a meter wide and put a whole bunch of meat. I mean, it would just be, it's insane. So that's the first limitation that's very bad. The second limitation we'll get to in a second. We'll build this out. So this is our package that I hate this pack too. If you go in here to add a piece, it always goes back to this. No matter where if I go in here and I go back to props where I have my props and settings here, and I go to the different parts here, and I add we'll add some flooring here. I'll add a stone floor, and then if I go back to adding it, it always goes back to this. So these are really rough things. You might say, well, Mike, that's easily fixed. Yeah, it's fixed, but it tells me that this was never in beta, because any decent beta tester would have picked up on all these crap. It's really bad, crappy stuff. But anyway, so there it is. So you got that, and actually we'll make that ground floor. So then once you make this package, you export it. Oh, by the way, it'll tell you that you can't do this even if you can. So for example, if you for example, if you have just a single layer, like you want to just make a floor that's not more than one layer, more than one story high, it'll tell you that that's wrong, because the default is 2 stories, so it automatically assumes you. So that's another. Like I say again, a lot of just bad programming. I'm sorry, I love the devs, but they didn't test this out. They didn't give it to people to test. Let's put it that way. Okay, so then we go to plugin. We're gonna make a building. We're gonna create a building. Oh my goodness. And so these are the ones that are already in there, but we're not going to use one of those. We're going to use the one because they work. And I might want to notice if we pick those. Well, I'll go later. But all the examples they have are apartment buildings, and the reason for that is simple. They don't do roofs. The only way you can do roofs is to add on manually these roof pieces, which is another pain in the ass. And they still don't fit and line up properly. So unless you want to have a flat roof, which honestly, if you're not living in an apartment building, I guarantee, or you live in a mobile home somewhere, you don't have a flat roof. Everybody has some kind of canted roof. There are 9 common roof types. Flat roof is one of them, and it comprises less than 10% of all buildings. But anyway, here's the building. So I have all my pieces, and we'll go ahead and build it. And take a look. I'll show you some of the other issues with this. Okay, so here's the building. Yay, you might say. Well, Mike, that really looks ugly. and it does, for a lot of reasons. The main reason it looks ugly is, even though these are modular pieces that I picked, they don't work good when you tile them like this. And they really shouldn't be tiled like this. This is another default problem. And of course, that's part of the problem is that BuildingGen wants to sell you their pieces, and all their pieces use substance materials. So they work a lot better than this. So you might say, well, okay, then I'll just go ahead. I'll bring my own stuff in because I still want to have these neat windows, and I want to have my neat doors the way it is, although don't get me started on doors. That's a whole other issue. But how can I can put my own substances in on this, right? Well, you could if you could optimize this. And you might say, well, why optimize? Well, that sounds good, right? It puts all the textures together in one big texture, and then that way you could just drag and drop substance textures in. So here we go. We're gonna optimize this building. Honestly, this is not that complicated. Hang on a sec, folks. If this works, this will be really fun because it's never worked. Yep. Oh, there we go. And it killed it. I've never been able to get a building of my own to optimize. And I assume that that's because, again, this was never tested. How many times can I say that? No one ever tested this. Well, no user ever tested it. Only a dev. So, but anyway, if you could optimize it, then you could drag and drop substance textures in. But you know what? I don't really care. I've already done far more than I ever wanted to do about this. I really just don't give a crap about this. My advice is don't buy this. And hopefully we'll see you guys around the forum.